SMT Nation, we back. Nation, we just got the Q1 numbers from T-Mobile, and they look really good. There was a lot of positive. I know they may have missed on earnings in some ways. Not really the focus of this video. In today's video, we're going to just offer some commentary on the network strategy and the progress that T-Mobile has in delivering the fastest 5G network to its customers across the country. What's referred to as 5G UC, their N41 build, their mid-band 5G, that's really the catalyst of their growth, right? Being able to sell mobile network service that is really capacitive and enjoyable, and then also the fixed wireless access 5G home internet. It kind of serves a dual purpose as a network. And we got some disclosures from executives at T-Mobile on where it is, how it's going to play out, and the competition. Okay, so I'll go ahead and link this page for you if you would like to refer to it and check it out. So that'll be in the description. Also in the description is the real SMT Buy Me a Coffee link. If you want to support your creators directly, that's one way to do it. You can also check out our wireless partner, Mint Mobile, who is now offering increases to all of their data plans. Every single one of their plans saw a boost in data, and they didn't even touch pricing. They left it the same. You tell me who's doing that in this industry in today's economy. Great value, legendary customer care. You know what you're getting from Mint Mobile, and we're proud to stand with them. Link in the description will help you save money, and you'll be supporting the channel in the process. All right, so I want to focus on the network today. All right, from the horse's mouth, the new network leader replacing Neville Ray as president of technology and basically the network executive. All right, this is Ulf Ewaldson. And he said that building the network is 3 times harder in rural. And what he's referring to is that basically the T-Mobile network within urban and most of suburban has been upgraded, modernized, and received the 5G UC upgrades. Now, the reason why this is important is you look at what T-Mobile pushes as a network narrative. Best network, best value. And you got this headline here. T-Mobile reigns as nationwide overall network leader and largest, fastest, most awarded 5G network. They cite Ookla. They cite Umlaut. I know Ookla. I don't know who Umlaut is and what they do. But it goes to show you that with their 5G network access being so focused on 5G, especially the ultra capacity 5G, now covering 275 million people, or what are known as points of presence, aka POPs. So what Ulf Ewaldson is saying is that this is the difficult part. You know, this is the hard part in trying to close that last segment of the country, which is going to be rural America, where it's harder to do this. So the first, 150, 200 million pops, very easy. You do that in the urban core, like the top 50 markets. Then you have like the next 50 markets, which don't have as many pops, obviously, right? So the numbers get, they increase slowly. Now, Verizon's over 200 million pops today in their dedicated mid-band 5G. AT&T, I think, at its disclosure of the earnings, came in at like 160 million. They still have some pace to what they're doing. So they're probably going to close the gap really quick, right? Verizon's going to get to where T-Mobile is today probably within the next year. AT&T is probably going to get there in the next year and a half. And that's if they keep the same pace. If any of the pace is slowed down from these guys, well, then, yeah, it's going to take them longer, maybe 2 years instead of like a year and a half. But based on the pace we're seeing today, that's the anticipation. And the reason why I wanted to cite this is because T-Mobile is setting an unfair expectation to the consumer. They're telling us, how hard it is to do this. Well, to be honest and direct and truthful, the other carriers are spending more money within a shorter time frame than T-Mobile did. Right? T-Mobile, obviously, they can do some things a little bit more swiftly because they're a smaller company and they don't operate their own fiber network. So it allows them to just focus on, building out the wireless network and then doing their thing. Verizon, with the one fiber program, AT&T, obviously, as an ILEC and stuff like that, they're more the fiber operator. But I think that's the reason why Verizon and AT&T are going to have an easier time with the rural network build. First of all, AT&T and Verizon offer larger networks than T-Mobile, bigger footprints, more tower sites, especially in the urban setting. Their tower grids are more robust. They have more tower sites in rural America. It's why people trust AT&T and Verizon more so in the rural setting, right? T-Mobile is still coming up in that respect. They must add more sites. They must be more competitive in rural America. They say they want to compete for rural customers, and it's an untapped market for them, but you have to have a larger network than what you currently have to do that, which they're doing. They're addressing it. So in my estimation, this is a little bit misleading, and it's more of the T-Mobile marketing machine. It will not be as hard to build rural America out for AT&T and Verizon as it is and was for T-Mobile. It's just different. Verizon and AT&T have larger existence footprints. They have to go and upgrade those sites. T-Mobile has had to build more sites in order to compete, and they're still not up to par. There's still places where T-Mobile has long stretches of no coverage, where AT&T does, and Verizon has. So in my estimation, this right now is where Verizon and AT&T have the advantage. They will close that gap very quickly, and based on the spending, right, with AT&T over $20 billion for consecutive years, with Verizon continuing to hang around the $18 to $19 billion mark. Meanwhile, T-Mobile has regressed back down to the $9 billion capex, with no indication of being able to completely close the gap with Verizon and AT&T. We want them to. We know that they're going to expand coverage, but are they going to be able to close a 20-year advantage in which Verizon, mostly in this conversation, but also AT&T with FirstNet, they've pushed out ahead of T-Mobile in overall coverage. The T-Mobile and Sprint merger helped T-Mobile, no doubt. Gave them coverage in places they previously didn't have. But it's still not there when it comes to square miles covered, which doesn't address POPs. POPs is a nice little conversation piece. The truth is about coverage. That's the lacking. So T-Mobile's going to have to focus on that. Meanwhile, Verizon and AT&T have to focus less on that, and it's more about modernizing and upgrading their sites. Folks, the gap, whatever advantage that T-Mobile has enjoyed, the window is closing. The carriers that they compete with, Verizon and AT&T, are getting more spectrum. Their networks are going to get faster. They're mostly focusing on modernization and less about coverage. So the gap's going to close. The conversation we are having on this channel 1 year from today, these networks are going to perform very similarly. And some of the coverage issues on T-Mobile are still going to exist. What do you guys think? Sound off in the comment section below. You all the voice of the people, the SMT Nation. Let your voice be heard.